Alright, let's dive into this because there's a lot to unpack here, and honestly, it's pretty exciting stuff if you're a Florida State fan or just a college football enthusiast. So, Mike Norvell just wrapped up the Seminoles' first preseason scrimmage, and from what he's saying, there's a lot to be optimistic about. But let's break it down, because personally, I think there's more to this than just the usual coach speak. First off, the hook here is this: Florida State's first scrimmage under Norvell's leadership is already showing signs of a team that's not just rebuilding, but potentially reloading. And what makes this really interesting is the way Norvell is framing the progress. It's not just about the plays, but the communication, the alignment, and the tempo. In my opinion, that's where the real story is. It's easy to talk about big plays, but the foundation of a successful team is often in the details, and that's what Norvell seems to be zeroing in on. One thing that immediately stands out is the emphasis on communication. Norvell mentioned it multiple times, and it's clear he's not just paying lip service. When he talks about guys aligning properly and executing plays with leverage, what this really suggests is a team that's starting to gel mentally as much as physically. What many people don't realize is that communication breakdowns are often the difference between a good team and a great one. So, if they are nailing this early, that's a huge positive. Now, let's talk about the quarterbacks, because that's always a hot topic. Ashton Daniels seems to be taking the reins confidently, and Norvell's comments about his command and decision-making are particularly telling. Personally, I think the most intriguing part here is how Daniels is handling the offense's complexity. Norvell mentioned they are still installing plays, and the fact that Daniels is already making nice throws under pressure. That's a big deal. It's not just about the physical talent, it's about the mental processing, and that's where Daniels seems to be shining. But here's the thing, it's not just about Daniels. Norvell gave props to Kevin and Dean Denobile too, which tells me the quarterback room is competitive but also cohesive. In my opinion, a deep QB room is a luxury in college football, and it looks like Florida State might have that this year. What this really suggests is that Norvell and his staff are building depth, which is crucial for a long season. Defensively, the buzzword here is speed. Norvell kept coming back to it, and honestly, that's music to my ears. A fast defense is a disruptive defense, and when you combine that with physicality, you've got a recipe for success. Ashlyn Barker, Chris Jones, and the defensive line are names to watch, but what's more fascinating is how they are playing off each other. It's not just individual talent, it's the synergy, and that's what makes this really interesting. Now, let's talk about the offensive line, because that's often the unsung hero of any team. Norvell called them a veteran group, and that experience is going to be huge. Braden Joyner at center, Nate Pabst's versatility, and Chap's presence at left tackle, these are the guys who could make or break the season. From my perspective, if the offensive line holds up, this offense could be explosive. But if they struggle, well, that's a different story. Special teams? Norvell seems confident, especially with the return game. Jason Lopez and Deuce Robinson are names to keep an eye on, and the fact that they are already putting guys in challenging situations is a good sign. What many people don't realize is that special teams can swing games, so if Florida State has a weapon there, that's a huge advantage. But here's the bigger picture: Norvell is talking about this scrimmage as a stepping stone, not the end goal. They are heading to Jacksonville, treating it like a road trip, and that's smart. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a team that's not just preparing for the season, they're preparing for adversity, for the unknown. And that's what makes this really interesting. It's not just about the plays or the players, it's about the mindset. So, where does this leave us? Personally, I think Florida State is further along than many expected at this point. The communication, the depth, the speed on defense, these are all great signs. But here's the deeper question: can they sustain this momentum? Can they handle the pressure of a full season? That remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this team is shaping up to be a lot more than just a rebuild. They are building something exciting, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it